Well, let's actually get an update here on the Elon story that was running on the New York Times from Undersecretary of Defense Sean Parnell, who joins us for the first time on the program since he has taken that senior Pentagon role. I feel like I should salute Sean. Thank you for being with us, and tell us what you can about what happened with the New York Times saying Elon was going to get all the China war plans.
It was completely fake. And you want to know what else? We had a heads up from the New York Times reporter. I should say, like, there was 5 reporters on it, but by one of the reporters the night before that they were planning to write something like that, and this was the angle that they were going to take. And we told them last night that it's not true. Like, what are you doing? That's not true. This is completely fake. Yet they ran with the story anyway. And what's crazy to me, Buck, is that like this Secretary Hegseth has been working so hard to push peace through strength, to build up our force, to work to implement the president's agenda. I've been on the bilateral calls with foreign leaders. I've heard him make the case for peace through strength. But articles like this, that Elon Musk is going to come to the Pentagon and get a super secret squirrel briefing on war plans with potential China, not only does it undermine the secretary's what his goals and ambitions are here, which I think is part of the point. It also is it's dangerous. It's dangerous because many of us took this job, Buck, and I know I speak for the secretary too because we've got a lot of kids. Our job, I think we've got 4 years to get this done. You know as well as I do, Buck, the operating environment, the threat environment globally is changing rapidly. We've got to change and evolve our force to meet it. But we've got kids that we've got to make sure that they inherit a world that is better than the one that we had, that is more prosperous than the one that we had, and is safer. And articles like that like this from the New York Times work against that goal, and it just makes you wonder what their motivation is. To me, it's just sickening. They should retract.
Not only should they retract, Sean, congratulations on the new job, and thank you for the work that you're doing there and for hopping on with us. Don't you think, Sean, that this had to be coming via a leak in some way to the New York Times? And if that occurred, wouldn't that be criminal based on the method that it was distributed and given the story that's out there about China war plans? What kind of investigation can we expect or should take place here?
Well, we're still in the early phases of this. So we're still trying to wrap our mind around how something like this could happen. But, yeah, certainly it's a leak. In this case, a fake one. So the 2 anonymous defense officials, I mean, you sit there and you read the article from the Times, and you wonder if these anonymous defense officials are even real people. I don't know. But thankfully, in this regard, the leak was fake, and we were able to control the narrative. But the fact of the matter is that this is a big building where we do nothing but plan for every contingency. And we can't have, anonymous defense officials passing off, what they think might be classified information to reporters who then turn around and publish it. Yeah, that's criminal. And I'll tell you, there have got to be consequences for that. So we're still trying to figure out how we approach this. But yeah, I'll tell you, this is on all of our minds because politics is behind everything, but what we're dealing with here are global national security issues that could affect the safety of Americans or potentially the safety of Americans. You can't play with that stuff. So yeah, what I can tell you, we're definitely looking into avenues that we can, investigate's a loaded word, but we've got to do something.
Speaking of Sean Parnell, Assistant Undersecretary of Defense at the Pentagon, formerly, as you know, Sean was a friend of ours here on the Clay and Buck Podcast Network. And Sean, just give us a sense of what some of the top agenda items are right now that Secretary of Defense Hegseth and then you working at the Pentagon with the rest of the team there. What are some of the top items that you're trying to do in terms of reform, in terms of transparency, and just warfighting efficiency?
Yeah, so I think the top priority for us, Buck and Clay, is defense of the homeland. It's been something that both Democrat and Republican regimes over the last 20, 30 years have probably not been as strong as they needed to be on this, but we are very, very focused on full operational control of the southern border, and that means the cartels not controlling a single square mile of anything. That means stopping the flow of fentanyl into our country. It's the number one cause of death for people in America between 18 and 45. It's absolutely unacceptable. It needed to stop yesterday. I think we're really focused as well on, this process will be slower, but a real focus on the Indo-Pacific and deterring China. What looms large over many of these BILAC calls, don't want to go in too deep on what's the substance of the conversations, of course, but the rising tide of the CCP is something that looms large over everything. We recognize it's something that we've got to focus on. It's a challenge for sure. The third, I think, is figuring out a way to increase burden sharing with our allies. The truth is, our allies need to do more to both protect their nation and protect the world so that we don't have to. We're always going to be there. We're always going to step up and we're going to do our part. But as I mentioned earlier, the world is changing and evolving rapidly. And if this country, the world's lone superpower, does not change rapidly and evolve with it, bad things will happen. And so those, I think, Buck, are the top three priorities for us, I think, operationally, but internally to the force, like we're aggressively assessing standards, trying to get a sense of maybe how things changed over the years. We've removed all the caustic and divisive diversity, equity, and inclusion nonsense from almost all of our digital platforms. The climate change insanity, all of the electric tanks crap that's done and gone at the Pentagon. We're cutting those programs and reinvesting them into programs that will make us more capable and lethal. So lots of things are happening here at the Pentagon in the first 2 months. And look, it's going to be pedal to the metal for us for the next 4 years because we really want to change things, and we're not going to waste any time doing it.
Talking to Sean Parnell, all of that's incredibly important. I know there's been a lot of breaking news. I don't know if you've seen the latest breaking news. Your Pittsburgh Steelers are currently hosting Aaron Rodgers on a quarterback visit. So you get an opportunity to step outside of the world of geopolitics. Right call, wrong call. You've added some wide receiver weapons. You are a big-time Pittsburgh Steeler fan, for people who don't know. Should Aaron Rodgers be the next quarterback of the terrible towel wavers?
Well, let me just tell you this. First of all, I'm excited as a Steelers fan for DK Metcalf. Yep. I just am. He's a freaking beast. We need a receiver like him, a number one wide receiver that can be really a deep threat. And that guy is extraordinary. He's an extraordinary athlete. He's going to fit in well in Pittsburgh. I'm whatever. It's Aaron Rodgers. We'll give it a go. I think I'm game, right? I'm game to try anything. The Steelers, I think, have struggled at quarterback since Ben Roethlisberger left the team. I've got an all of an above strategy on this one here, Clay. It's Aaron Rodgers. He's a Hall of Famer. Let's give it a go, see what we can accomplish.
Good stuff, Sean. We appreciate you making the time. Buck, we still need to I'm in D.C. right now, but we still need to come hang out with you guys at some point, Sean, down the line, and make sure we get to tell your story from over near the Pentagon.
Oh, for sure. Now that I'm kind of more settled, we can definitely make that happen 100%.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Sean. And maybe, I don't know, Clay says he's never been on an aircraft carrier. You know what I mean? Maybe we've got to do some journalism.
That would be pretty cool.
Get him on a helo, get him out to one. I'm just saying.
That's a good idea. We might be able to make that happen, too.
Sounds awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you to Sean Parnell, diehard Steeler fan. And speaking of the Steelers, you can't really get your picks in on the Steelers right now, but you can get your picks in on the NCAA tournament with tons going on right now with Prize Picks. And I told the team, do we have a tally yet to see how I did, how Buck did in the early goings of the Great Bracket Challenge for a steak dinner bet? They're up on clayandbuck.com. I have not been able to tally them to see who had the best first day of the NCAA tournament. But I do know you can have a good day every single day of the NCAA tournament, and then on into Major League Baseball, which is starting soon. Shohei Ohtani's over in Japan. The Dodgers' payroll is approximately $8 billion this year. That's an exaggeration, barely. But they are going to be spending more than anybody else. I think it's actually $400 million. and you are going to be able to get your picks in on Major League Baseball, get your picks in on the NBA, but really right now NCAA tournament, and you get $50 when you bet $5. When you make a $5 pick, you get $50 using my name, prizepicks.com, code CLAY. You can play in Texas, Georgia, California if you've been feeling left out. 13 million people have signed up. Prizepicks.com, code CLAY. Get your picks in today. $5 picks get you $50 in your account. Prizepicks.com. Use that code CLAY.